You know that nothing will come from overthinking all your problems when the mirror is the one that never lies. It all gets so dramatic, symphonies all turn to static. Honestly, who really has the time? Is it me? Just me? Is everybody on drugs? Everybody's on drugs. 'Cause the world behind us is better in disguise. So we try to keep the feelings numb. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. Now the higher ground's calling, no one's listening, just talking, treading water when this could be paradise. And burning both ends of the candle, and only so much one can handle. Any friend of yours is a friend of mine. But everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. 'Cause the world behind us is better in disguise. So we try to keep the feelings numb. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. Is anyone here seeing anything clear? Or is everyone just one of everyone just one of us? And oh, everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. And everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. Because the world behind us is better in disguise. So we try to keep the feelings numb. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's on drugs.
What's going on, people? Happy Wednesday. Maybe not for some. Maybe not for some. I understand. To be honest, I wish things were a little bit better as well. Let me go ahead and switch to the screen. Don't get me wrong, I caught my BTC short, and it's making up for some of that lost profit, as planned. But unfortunately, for some reason, I got kicked out of my ETH trade last night, which was going smoothly. I guess we had a quick wick to the upside, and it started going back down immediately afterwards. So, here we are. I got my camera going today. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna switch it. Just give me 1 second. I gotta like clean it all up here. I'll beep up, because I have to use the bigger camera lens. Because if we're gonna be doing stuff around the room today, I gotta be able to. It's just trying to open up the boxes already. Switch it to. There we go. Man, dude, I'm so sorry. This is gonna take just a little bit of time. This like that. There we go. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna be honest. I just woke up like 25 minutes ago, and it just so happens that they delivered for our regular 1 p.m. set time. So I mean, it all works out, but I'm still waking up. So don't get on my back. All right, let me pull up the chat. Also, I got this new headset yesterday, strictly for the purpose that it is a wireless headset, so that when I'm moving around the room today, I can still talk to you guys. And I plan to have the chat up on my television. That way, you know, it's just easy to see. And it turns out like I actually really like this headset. They're like really comfortable. All right, so I am entered short on BTC from 45,359. Like I said, if we cross below that second ABC top, I didn't really want to play the like I said, I don't want to play the macro just because that was the battleground area and we kept going over and under and over and under. So I just wanted to save myself a lot of hurt. Because I mean, as bad as this situation is, it's really not that bad comparative to what it could have been if I chose to play my actions differently. If I chose to play my actions differently and tried to take every single short at the exact top because I want to, you know, make up for all my losses. If I would have played on Ethereum as well, you know, I would have gotten stopped out like 10 times instead of 3-4 times before we started heading back down. Now, I'm not like super concerned. Oh, this is not even my chart. This is my friend Isaiah's chart. I'm not super concerned about the long-term outlook. Like I said, I mean, that is the setup. The ABC, this ABC has the potential to continuation us all the way down past 31,000 and beyond. All right, this could be the turning point in the macro direction of Bitcoin for the foreseeable future. Now, why am I not too concerned? One, as always, if we want to continue pumping up, we have to build liquidity. People have to get stopped out. People have to, you know, be put pressure on. Sorry, once again, waking up. Be put pressure on, i.e. like if, you know, if you're sitting in a short and the price continues to start, you know, it starts pumping back up and you're hard-headed and you don't want to let go of that short, what are you going to do? You're going to scale into the short. What are you doing when you're scaling into a short? You are buying more shares. All right, so you're ineffectively like working against yourself. Now, albeit on a micro scale, but if the entire market or like a large majority of the market starts doing that, that's when you see the pumps start coming in. I'm taking my vitamins for today. We're landing aircraft today. But I mean, if we look at this on the 1 hour time frame here, we do have a lot of potential for this ABC to continue us to the upside. I mean, you could say that this is turning into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really don't care. To me, it's just one gigantic ABC coming off of this. So I mean, that could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 working itself out on smaller time frames. The key level to watch out for that is if we get back above 44,306. So if you are like waiting for a long position, I'm not saying this is financial advice. This is just based off of my method. 44,306. If we get back above that level, that's when I would be entering along. And as well as that, when BTC is crossing that area, that's when I'm probably going to start perusing the market for any altcoins that have particular setups as well that are bullish. Because obviously I would like to get back into sushi. My point to get back into sushi at the moment is still around $3.81. So I mean, I'm not too hurt about that. It is what it is. I mean, this is the cost of doing business. I know everybody in their right mind, you know, they want to go and they want to take profit at the epitome of what it got to. All right, I saw sushi go from $1 worth of profit when I first entered it to getting stopped out once, and then once I re-entered it again, we got all the way up to like almost $500 worth of profit because it went all the way up to $5 and like 1 cent. All right, and trust me, it doesn't feel good when stuff comes back down like that, but you have to look at the risk versus reward. All right, we can't predict that it's going to go all the way from $5 all the way back down. You gotta take your chances sometimes. And look at the bright side. All right. If you play your risk correctly and you lose, did you really lose anything substantial? And once again, until you hit that market out button, that profit does not exist. It's unreal profit. All right. You got to remind yourself of that sometimes. So I am looking to get back into sushi. If anything, if it comes back about $3.81, I will try to re-enter. But like I said before, I would rather wait until BTC is back above its, like medium time frame setup. If we're considering this the macro here, this would definitely be the medium, and then anything within this C wave is the immediate micro. I know a lot of people are asking questions about that on the Discord. What classifies macro, and I mean, you can get as deep as you want with it in terms of like, oh, this is my macro, like this is my macro ABC right here. It's all dependent on like what your strategy is in terms of like what types of time frames are you playing. Like I said, if you got work that you got to go to every single day and you got to work 10 hours a day, you're probably not going to be playing on the 1 minute time frame. Otherwise, you're probably not doing a good job at your work. All right. So, I mean, you're probably playing the 1 hour, the 2 hour. So your macro is going to be different from somebody else's macro. Now, I still, like I said, if you are playing on the smaller time frames, it is imperative that you understand the larger time frames as well. And that's what makes scalping so damn hard for people, is because you have to incorporate pretty much all of the price action down to that time frame. If you're playing on just the larger time frames, like if I'm just playing on the 1 hour, I can pretty much see everything that is relatively important in the immediate term. Whereas if you're playing on the 1 minute time frame, especially if you have a smaller screen, you're not looking at anything relative, right? You're looking at such a zoomed in point in time that you might get caught off guard when a macro setup, a macro thing that was telling you, hey, we could have gone long, we could have gone short here, and you were playing on such a small setup that you didn't see it. And then all of a sudden price starts taking off either to the downside or to the upside, and you're like, what is happening? And because you're on a smaller time frame, everything is extrapolated out and you feel like it's doomsday. All right. Do yourself a favor, free up that stress, stop playing on the 1 minute time frame. Trust me, I know it feels like, Austin, but I'll make so much more money if I trade 10 times a day. All right. Yeah, maybe. And I've done it before as well. But it is a fool's game, dude. It's a fool's game. All right. Trying to play these tiny, tiny, tiny setups. Now, don't be wrong. If you got the extra money set aside and you are absolutely honest with yourself about what you're doing, and you're doing it for fun, all right, because you're not doing it for serious. You're doing it for fun at that point. Then go ahead, have your fun. All right, it's like going to Vegas. I get it. It's fun when it works, but if you take yourself too serious and you start losing, dumb monkey brain starts coming out, then what are you gonna do? All right. So be smart, be safe. That's all I ever want from you guys. But yeah, like there's nothing really too exciting. Like I said, I wish it would have gone a little bit better. I wish I didn't get stopped out of Ethereum. Like I said, I guess last night, no, I don't know what happened over here, because I guess this is where my conditional got triggered. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Now I was thinking about XMR, because I had a short on XMR, and XMR had a spike, if that's what I remember correctly. Yeah, I entered short on XMR somewhere around like right here when it was on its way down, because I missed the actual ABC top here, so I entered sometime once we got past it, and then we started slipping, and then I guess it came back up and wicked me out. Man, that sucks. Screw you, XMR. I loved you, but what now? I mean, you can see a lot of people are trying to short into the already falling price action. Like I said, that's exactly what you want. You want people that are overreacting to the market in the direction that it's going, trying to save their profit. So it doesn't look like BTC is in the negative. So, I mean, everything's kind of baseline right now, which is what you want. All right, if it was too extreme, try and look at some of the altcoins here. So it looks like XMR is in the negatives. Everything else is baseline, which over the past couple of days, that's not really the case. Like the normal for the past couple of weeks is extremes to one side or the other, whether that's negative or positive. So the fact that it's kind of like 50-50 right now is telling me that yeah, we're pretty much set for something. Um, but yeah, I'm just playing it by ear. Like I said, don't try to get too caught up. Just do what's best by your portfolio. Like I said, I got the BTC long and the Ethereum long. And right now, I have two shorts. All right, this one is entered with about $50 more margin than this one. And this one is entered with about $50 less. All right, so it's kind of balancing out. Right now, the account's at 3,140, which definitely like sucks. I mean, we saw 4 grand when everything was kind of popping off and everything was in the green. But that's the cost of doing business. We got to see where we came from. And we came from busted accounts. All right, so as long as the account's in the positive and we're cruising, that's the way to do it. And I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people like hate Nice Hash, but I'm gonna be honest. I used Nice Hash back in like 2016, 2017, and they have come a long way in terms of functionality, what they offer, and how the website works. They have an exchange on Nice Hash now. I'm not shilling for Nice Hash. I'm not sponsored by them. But all I'm saying is I hooked up Nice Hash for this computer just because I wanted to be a non-hassle. And I have to say, like, I'm actually really pleased with the experience so far. I know they take some of your profits, don't get me wrong, but that's the whole thing. They're offering a service. They automatically switch the algos for you and everything like that. And I'm sure, people have scripted their own stuff, or I don't know if Hive OS does that. Also, I don't. It's gonna be like a little bit of a slow build today because I still have to download either Windows or Hive OS to install as the operating system for that computer. But I guess let's get started. I'm excited too. So let me go ahead and throw the chat up on my TV so I can see you guys a little better. And if you guys are like trying to think that this is gonna be like a hot tub stream on Twitch, where like I drop my screwdriver and I go and I bend over slowly, it's exactly going to be that. So I hope you're in for the ride. Now prepare yourselves. I'm gonna be switching to the headset microphone, and you might just cry. All right, hello, Kite coming in 1-2. This is Air Tower 456. Fantastic. All right, and let me try to. I'm gonna try to get this to give like a upwards angle. I know you're getting like a really good shot right now. Too bad I don't have like a low cut top. Am I right? All right, Grandpa, I summon your powers. Lefty loosey, right? Lefty loosey? Oh yeah, it is. It always was. It always was lefty loosey. Oh, I'm still talking like I have a regular microphone. I'm sorry if this is too loud. All right, I don't know what that angle looks like, but all right. Now if you're expecting like a Linus Tech Tips level of like camera work and me getting up close and personal with the components, you're kind of mistaken. It's not going to really work like that, but we're going to try our best to make this inclusive to all parties involved. Do it shirtless. um, let me see. Let me try to get this going. I'm trying to make sure I have the best lighting possible, because I know that just came out wrong, but one guy, one room, one couch, best lighting. Am I right? Am I right? Okay. So I brought a table from downstairs in order to make this a little bit better. I don't know how this is going to work. Okay. So, I really don't know what this case is, and my biggest fear is that it's not going to fit a ATX motherboard. It looks like it will. Now this is like a super, super light case, which I wasn't too picky. Like I said, I was trying to pick the most cheap stuff that I could possibly find. That way I can get the system going and at least have it protected from a fishy boy. Um, so I don't know what it's not like a name brand or anything like that. It cost me about $50. So I mean, as well as that, I hate cases that are like super, super heavy. Um, so I mean, actually I like that. All right, we're just gonna barbarian rip this open. Oh, I just burped into a microphone that is literally a centimeter away from my mouth. I'm so sorry. This is like totally different. I'm not used to this at all. All right, so unboxing time. We went with the B560. Oh, B560 Asus. Once again, like everything that you see here should be under $50 per item. So everything came out to about $349. So no, I think well $384 after taxes. All right, so the entire system build cost me $1,184. So the ROI on like the complete system is going to come on, man, put on some socks. Is it weirding it? Is it that bad? Am I weirding you out? All right, so I went with Corsair Vengeance for the RAM. Just a single stick of DDR4. Because like I said, with a mining system, it's not about like gaming or anything like that. The only purpose a mining system serves is to power and allow the graphics card to run. Everything else is just so that you meet like the base level requirements for the operating system. And then since we're just running one card right now, it's got a 600 watt power supply. It's I think that's 80 plus silver. So it's not the best power supply by any means, but cheap, efficient. That's what we want. Yep. Now, like I'm praying to God that everything goes smoothly and we don't have any hiccups with this. What were you talking about, Kite? Say something ROI. I was basically saying I spent a total of $1,184 on the entire system. The graphics card, the SSDs, motherboard, everything like that. So I mean, theoretically, I'm hoping that it will only take me, you know, maybe a couple hundred days, maybe 200 days to ROI on the graphics card, but it's gonna definitely take me closer to a year to ROI on the entire system. And then for the processor, this is my first processor from Intel since I was 13 years old. Because my last Intel processor was a i5 4690K or 4670K. I'm not quite sure. But no, let's go ahead and start building this mamma jamma jamma jamma. Like I said, don't expect like super high quality like zoom ins. I'm gonna try my best to keep out of the way. And then like, you know, people got questions, want me to explain what I'm doing. They're gonna be mining crypto now. I just wanted to have, you know, a mining system going. Because I think I just love the concept. I love computers in the first place. So like any excuse to build computers, I'm gonna take it. So, all right. This is usually my favorite part of the entire thing. All right. Actually, no, we'll save that for later because we're going to put everything on the motherboard and test it before we throw it in the system. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Alright, now this is scientific. This is the exact way you do things. So, no questions asked. We listen to Teacher Kite, and we don't. Okay, I need a knife. This is not gonna work. Luckily, I got a Leatherman. Because we're a cool guy! And that's how cool guys sound. Once again, scientifically. If you don't sound like that, it's not that you're not cool, it's just that you get a couple cool points deducted. That's actually how they measure whether or not you go to heaven is cool guy points. Just gonna put that out there. Do what you want with that information. You know, don't tell them I told you. Did they give me tabs? The hell's that? My motherboard came with LSD. Why is it not focusing? Boom! What a fantastic time. Austin, you definitely repackaged your motherboard with drugs. No, I swear. They just knew who ordered it. Alright. Little jingle jangle on the metal, just to make sure. A lot of people are super duper scared about static electricity. It was a big problem with computers back in the day, I will admit. But nowadays, like, the actual circuits are so tough that I mean, you have to really, like, intentionally, you know, rub your feet all over the carpet for like 10 minutes and then just shock it once. Otherwise, if you do your due diligence and you just, you know, touch the metal and everything every so often, you're gonna be fine. All right, so we've got the motherboard out of the box. I don't know why I'm saying this is such a weird thing. This is so weird. Actually, let me put on some music for you guys, so it's not just me being boring, walking around an empty room. Put on some Akira the Dawn. How about it? How about it? Alright, so now I'm going to install the RAM.
Reassure people. You meet people who say, I'm really scared. I'm scared about my job. I'm scared. Don't worry.
What's the GPU? Oh yeah, I didn't show off the GPU. I'm gonna go grab that.
That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry for crying out loud?
So,
That's God's truth.
I don't know if I can, I doubt I can install this while it's not in the case, just because this is such a, like, hefty GPU. It's actually ridiculous. So we got a 2080 Ti, Gigabyte Aorus. I got it for $800 on Facebook Marketplace. Not a bad deal. All right, like I get what some people might say in terms of, like, if Ethereum goes proof of stake, graphics cards are gonna be so cheap. Why didn't you just wait till then? All right, because we don't know exactly when they're going proof of stake, to be honest. All right. Now, I know that the test net pretty much is up for the new Ethereum network, but I mean, that doesn't mean that they're anywhere near close in terms of, like, next month. But building a computer? Hell yeah, brother. Or sister. I don't judge. Alright, so get the little RAM stick guy. Let me put the GPU over here so there's no accidents, because if there is, man, you ever seen a grown man cry? I know, I have several times. That's why I took all the mirrors out of my house. I don't know if that sounded disgusting. I'm sorry. If that did, I will no longer drink unless I mute my mic. Ow! Son of a gun. I hate hard plastic. I said, I mean, I don't know what I can, if I can make the camera look a little bit better in terms of like you guys having a close up on. Maybe I should just move the table closer to this. Maybe that's the move. Let's try that. I just want to give myself some room to walk around. That's the only problem. Alright, so I don't know how they have these labeled. Okay, A1. Cool. Install and rep. Dude, I haven't built a computer for like 3 years. And RAM is typically the part where like people get scared. It literally, you just have to push until it clicks. Cool. Part 1 down. I'm sorry. I keep yelling into this microphone. I'm so sorry. How much did this bad boy run you? Everything together came out to about 1184. It is a bare bones system except for the GPU. Dude, I'm struggling. And the cool thing is like, typically you just kind of throw away these Intel coolers, but with an i3, this is really all you need. So I mean, I love it. I love the fact that I don't have to frick around with cause honestly, like I hate installing like AIOs and stuff like that. They're really not that hard to install. It's just sometimes they can be a hassle depending on how they set up the way that they do things. Alright, so now we're gonna line up the little, okay, there we go. Boop. So satisfying. And then for Intel, well, I guess is this for like everything? There's like this little thingy on top of the CPU. A lot of people take it off before they install it. You just literally have to pop it off. It's such a weird concept. There we go. As you're installing the processor. Okay. And the i3 does not have integrated graphics, so that is kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's not like it's needed, but it is an added bonus, just in case you don't want to frick around with the graphics card. Did you buy silicone for the chip? You talking about the thermal paste? Nah, so there's already thermal paste on the bottom of the thingamabobber. Alright, where's the fan header for this? Okay, so it's right here. Alright, that's how we're going to install it. Line up the little notches, like so, and then install CPU header. Now, I'm not going to lie. I want to say like I have a really good track record building PCs efficiently, correctly. But I have built a PC that upon turning it on, immediately caught on fire. So take everything I say here with a grain of salt. Otherwise, you might just end up like ya boy. Alright. Alright, we're done. We're done with that. Now, I'm not going for like prettiness. Don't get me wrong. I love pretty computers, but this is literally going to be tucked away in the corner, so there's no real need. I don't think I'm missing anything in terms of stuff, because the only problem is like I said, I don't want to install the graphics card because I don't feel like it'll be able to support the weight. I could use like the box as like a bracket. Cause I do want to test whether or not the system works, but I'm fairly confident. We're just gonna install it into the case. And we'll just throw this on the chair for now. Ooh, this is saucy. Look at that chew toy. Dog. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about he's like gonna clip the box and it's gonna fall down and crack. So like I said, this is usually my favorite part, is when you tear off this piece of plastic that's on like the glass piece. But since this case is so cheap, it's plastic on plastic, so when I tear this off, it's literally just going to be like static. Like, that's all it is. But just so you guys, I'm just gonna, okay, it's actually not that bad. Now, unfortunately, they put the plastic around these little thumb screws here. Oh, that's unfortunate. It just ruined the whole thing. Did they not think about this in the design? Alright, I'm a professional. I couldn't find like an actual like screwdriver, so I just had to settle with one of the ones where like you put the bit in there and it like holds it by to what in the hell? You're telling me that this screwdriver is too big? Oh my god. Okay, we're just gonna focus on another one. Ooh. Alright, we're just gonna rip it. Cause I can't get those thumb screws off, and I don't want to like break it until I have it set down. Alright. I'm so sorry. I ruined the best part. It's not my fault. It's theirs. I blame them. Dude, what the hell? Okay, there we go. I got it. Ow. And somebody asked me to put together like a tutorial video on talking about like how to choose your hardware and how to like get everything set up. I'll do it. Like I'm not, you know, that's pretty much what my channel has always been, is, you know, just like sharing stuff that I'm passionate about, and if people want tutorials about it, I'll do it.
But I will say, like, I'm not probably the best YouTube channel when it comes to, you know, trying to learn exactly how to be the most proficient miner. But I'll try my best, because like what I'm doing here is the absolute like most simple. Look at the dog. He has a Snoopy in his mouth. We love to fish. God, I hate. Who thought this was a good idea? Really? Who? Like I said, I'm, you know, Voscoin Mining, Son of a Tech. Most definitely check them out if you're super interested in mining. That clean plastic smell? Oh yeah, most definitely. There we go. That is such a better fit. And let me actually do this real quick. Just trying to get the lighting a little bit better. Alright, so now we can take off. Actually, this is... I want to assume that this is plexiglass. But no, I mean, it feels like actual tempered glass, which is pretty surprising, like I said, for a... And I'm getting my fingerprints all over this, by the way. I'm very sorry for anybody that has like a phobia of that. But there is a piece of plastic on the back to save me a little bit of trouble. I'll just have to wipe down this front. But we're going to throw this over here. And am I able to take the back? Yeah. Okay. And dude, this case is so small compared to like everything I've ever worked with, which is kind of scaring me. Not gonna lie, because if some of these components don't fit, I'm gonna be absolutely sad. One, because I'm trying to like, you know, I'm trying to treat this almost like a challenge portfolio in terms of, you know, being realistic with this. Like I said, I can throw money at anything any day, but I'd rather not, because that's just no fun. So if I have to buy a new case because I didn't do enough due diligence, then that is more time to ROI. And in actuality, like, you know, I really do recommend that if you want to ROI as quick as possible, you try to find everything that you need on Craigslist or like Letgo. Well, I guess Letgo doesn't exist anymore. OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace. So I mean, people are just selling like stuff like this, like the base computer to plug your graphics card into. People sell those for dirt cheap. But I rather make sure that everything I get works and works properly. The one thing about these cheat cases is like these rat nests back here. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to move all this to the side, and we're going to install the standoffs in the case. Actually, there's already standoffs there. Cool. Fantastic. Now let me make sure they all line up with the ATX board, as well as that. Let's see, what did I do with the IO shield? It's right there, okay. We're gonna install the IO shield. He's signaling he needs to poop. I mean, he's just chilling. He went out right before we got on live stream, so. Is that a wallpaper behind the black thing? It's 3D art panels, which I have been way too lazy. I have a whole nother box of them in order to fill in. You know, like I'm missing some up here and I'm missing some over there. I've just been way too lazy. Because cutting them sucks. Either one, you have to use 10 snips, which end up like cutting your own hands, or which way is? I'm just trying to make sure I got this oriented the right way. Okay. I got it. Installing the IO shield. So someone, I think earlier, asked about fans for the system. I mean, this is like a super cheap case, so it came with only 2 fans. It came with one in the front, which I would have liked it to have been like up here. But I'm gonna run it and see how everything runs in terms of like how cool it runs. If not, I have extra fans, you know, free of charge. You know, and they're cool RGB fans too. Because when I got this pre-built system, I ordered it with extra fans, and instead they just threw them in the bag and sent them to me. Okay. Trying to line up the IO here. Okay, everything lines up perfectly. Fantastic. This is going so great, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but I never had this much luck. Alright, and I just jinxed myself. I just jinxed myself wholeheartedly. What will you mine? So, on what to mine, the 2080 Ti does just as well with ETH hash as it does with Flux. So, I think what my strategy is going to be with mining is I'm going to mine BTC on my 3090. Not BTC, but I'm mining nice hash and nice hash picks, whatever, and then pays me out in BTC. And I'm going to be sending that BTC every 3 days and using it to DCA into KDA. As well as that, I heard that helium might be something I should look into. I have a gist of like what the technology is and how it works, so I think it's pretty cool. God, I don't know if I have a. Alright, let me make sure I got the right screws here. And if I'm breathing into my microphone, let me know. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, son of a bitch. Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this over the desk. And it's actually probably easier if I just pour them all out, find out the ones I need, and then. Okay. That's all I need. think it might just be easier to use my Leatherman to get these screws in there.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
Oh, come on.
Man, I still go.
Oh, that sucks. Technical difficulties. Try and get the screw. What the hell?
To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can.
Alright, this is gonna be difficult to pull off with one person. Somehow, the screw that I used picked up the standoff, and now the standoff is stuck. That is ridiculous. What the hell? The Fed minutes, please. The Fed minutes released. What about the Fed? So no, I'm not talking about actually like mining helium with a helium miner. I'm talking about simply mining and then buying helium with said profits daily. Oh my gosh, this is difficult and infuriating. Dude, what did I tell you? What did I tell you about my luck, dude? I jinxed it. God. How am I gonna do this? Trying to think of a creative solution and use my smarts. Yeah, I looked at the Bobcat miner, and it was only going for like what, 450? Crypto is pamping. Oh, fantastic. Dude, this actually makes me quite upset. And it's like really stuck on there. That is ridiculous. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go look for a tool in order to get this off of here. Let's put something on. Let's put I'll be right back, guys. I just need to fix this. BRB.
It is believed generally in India that when a person sets out on the way of liberation, his first problem is to become free from his past karma. The popular theory of karma, the word that literally means action or doing in Sanskrit, so that when we say that something that happens to you is your karma, it's like saying in English, it's your own doing. But in popular Indian belief, karma is a sort of built-in moral law, or a law of retribution, such that all the bad things you do and all the good things you do have consequences which you have to inherit. And so long as karmic energy remains stored up, you have to work it out. And what the sage endeavors to do is a kind of action which in Sanskrit is called nishkama karma. Nishkama means without passion or without attachment, karma, action. And so whatever action he does, he renounces the fruits of the action, so that he acts in a way that doesn't generate future karma, because future karma continues you in the wheel of becoming, samsara, the round, and keeps you being reincarnated. Now then, in that case, when the time comes that you start to get out of the chain of karma, all the creditors that you have start presenting themselves for payment. In other words, a person who begins, say, to study yoga is felt that he will suddenly get sick, or that his children will die, or that he'll lose his money, or all sorts of catastrophes will occur, because the karmic debt is being cleared up. And there's in no hurry to be cleared up if you're just living along like anybody. But if you embark on the spiritual life, a certain hurry occurs. And therefore,
let's try to fix my mistake.
It's discouraging to start these things.
He is now the computer.
The Christian way of
That's
saying
the idea. That's the idea.
Is that if you plan
That's
to
all I
do-
ever wanted, actually,
change your life,
is to be a
shall we
computer.
say, to turn over a new leaf, you mustn't
And
let
by
the devil
coincidence,
know,
I am.
because he will oppose you with all his might if he suddenly discovers that you're going to escape from his power. So, for example, if you have a
Okay,
bad
this is gonna
habit,
be
say you drink too much,
Slightly difficult.
and you make a New Year's resolution that during this coming year you'll stop drinking. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do,
Oh my gosh.
because the devil will immediately know about it.
I
And
did
what will
it!
happen will be this. He will confront
Once
you
again,
with
I am
the
so
prospect
sorry
of
for screaming into the
365
microphone.
business days.
I am so
And
sorry.
that will
I'm
be
so
awful,
sorry.
You know, just overwhelming. And you won't be
I'm
able
just
to
not
make
used
much
to it.
more than 3 days on the wagon. So in that case, you
Beep boop.
compromise with the devil and say, just today I'm not going to drink, you see, but tomorrow maybe.
Okay, let's throw the
Then when tomorrow comes,
thing
you
about
say,
her back in
oh,
there.
just another day, let's try out, that's all. And the next day you say, oh, one more day won't make much difference. So you only do it for the moment, and you don't let the devil know that you have a secret intention of going on day after day after day after day. But of course, there's something still better than that. And that is not to let the devil know anything.
That's
And
genius,
that
Alan
means, of
Watts.
course, not to let yourself know. One of the many meanings of that saying, let not your left hand know what your right hand doeth, is just this. And that was why in Zen discipline,
Look at that dog. Look at that dog.
a great deal of it centers around acting without premeditation. As those of you know who read Herrigel's book, Zen in the Art of Archery, it was necessary to release the bowstring without first saying now. There's a wonderful story you may also have read by a German writer, von Kleist, about a boxing match with a bear.
Oh, my nose is gonna start running. This sucks.
The man can never defeat this bear because the bear always knows his plans in advance and is ready to deal with any situation. The only way to get through to the bear would be to hit the bear without having first intended to do so. That would catch him. And so this is one of the great problems in the spiritual life, or whatever you want to call it, is to be able to have intention and act simultaneous.
We really out here giving you guys all the secrets to life.
By this
That's how we
means,
work.
you escape karma and you escape
Otherwise,
the
people don't listen to shit like this unless there's other stuff involved. That's
So,
interesting.
You might say that the Taoist is exemplary in this respect. That this is getting free from karma without making any previous announcement.
Alright,
Of
first
simply-
screw in. That's what's up. We're doing it.
Supposing we have
We
a
the best.
train and we want to unload the train of its freight cars. You can go to the back end and you can unload them one by one and shunt them into the siding. But the simplest of all ways of unloading is to uncouple between the engine and the first car, and that gets rid of the whole bunch at once. And it is in that sort of way, you see, that the Taoist gets rid of karma.
That's gonna be a struggle to try to get with the Leatherman.
And so it has the reputation, you see, of being the easy way.
Actually, let me get rid of this ram stick while I'm
There
trying
are
to do
all
this.
kinds of yogas and ways for people who want to be difficult. And one of the great gambits of a man like Gurdjieff was to make it all seem as difficult as possible, because that challenged the vanity of his students. If some teacher, some guru says, really, this isn't difficult at all, it's perfectly easy, some people will say, oh, he's not really the real thing.
Oh, we got it.
We want something tough and difficult, and when we
We got two more
somebody
screws.
starts out giving you a discipline that's very, very weird and rigid.
Oh,
you think,
Jesus.
Now there is the thing. That man means business. See? And so they flatter themselves by going to such a guy that they are serious students, whereas the other people are only dabblers and so on. All right, if you have to do it that way, that's the way you have to do it. But the Taoist is the kind of person who
It's
shows you
secure
a
enough.
shortcut
Dude, get a proper screwdriver.
and shows you
I
how
spent
to do it,
this morning looking for one. I couldn't find one. I'm
intelligence
so sorry.
because that's
But
what Taoism
here
is,
we
in a
are.
sense, what everybody's looking for. The easy way in, the shortcut, using cleverness instead of muscle. So the question naturally arises, isn't it cheating?
I have this screwdriver,
When
but
in
this
any
is
game,
too fat to fit in
Somebody
to all
really
that.
starts using his
So I'm actually better off
he
just
will very
using
likely be accused
the
of
Leatherman in some situations.
cheating. And to draw the line between skill and cheating.
Because this is a cheap case, so like first off they're using like a
The
weird
inferior intelligence will always accuse the superior
size screwdriver, because that's standard, the one that I was just
That's
using
his way
there,
of saving face.
and it doesn't work.
You beat
but this
me
one
by
works.
means that weren't fair. We were originally having a contest to find out who had the strongest muscles. And you know, we were pushing against it like this. And this would prove who had the strongest muscles. But then you introduce some gimmick into it, some judo trick or something like that, you see. And you're not playing fair. So in the whole domain of ways of liberation, there are routes for the stupid people and routes for the intelligent people. And the latter are faster. This was perfectly clearly explained by Huineng, the sixth patriarch of Zen in China, in his sutra, where he says the difference between the gradual school.
That's what I'm saying.
and the
That's
school
what I'm saying. We gotta work
is
with what
that
we
they
got.
both arrive at the same point, but the gradual is for slow-witted people, and the sudden is for fast-witted.
Alright, how many slots is this?
Can you, in other words, find a way
I'm trying to see real
that
quick.
sees into your own nature? that sees
Dude,
into
this
the
graphics
Tao,
card barely fits in this case.
And at the end of this morning's talk, I pointed out to you
Okay,
the
so
immediate
I just
way,
need to take out those first 2 slots. Okay,
the way
fantastic.
through now. When you know that
Oh, sorry for the.
this moment is the Tao,
It's got one of these ones where you have to just kind of like tear it off. I hate that.
is considered by itself.
Nah, this is like a
Without
$50
past,
case,
without
and it's not
future.
gonna come with a screwdriver.
Eternal, neither coming into being nor going out of being. There is nirvana.
This is the shittiest cable for a case fan I've ever seen. Touch of the metal? Okay. Trying to get this all situated. Oh shit,
And
there's
there is
one
a whole
more
Chinese
screw.
philosophy of time based on this. It hasn't, to my knowledge, been very much
Checking on the market.
discussed by Taoist writers.
The market
It's
is
all
back
discussed
down.
by Buddhist writers, but it's all based on the same thing. Dogen, the great 13th century Japanese Zen Buddhist, studied in China. And he wrote a book called Shobo Genzo. A Roshi recently said to me in Japan, that's a terrible book, because it tells you everything. It gives the whole secret away. And in the course of this book, he says,
Fantastic.
there is no such thing as a progression in time. The spring does not become the summer. There is first spring, and then there is summer. So in the same way, you now do not become you later. This is T.S. Eliot's idea in Four Quartets, where he says that the person who has settled down in the train to read the newspaper is not the same person who stepped onto the train from the platform. And therefore also you who sit here are not the same people who came in at the door. These states are separate, each in its own place. There was the coming in at the door person, but there is actually only the here and now
weird.
person.
But okay,
The person
we'll work
sitting
with it.
here and now is not the person who will die.
I have to like push the graphics card in order to make the screw holes line up. Once we get it, we got it.
We are all a constant flux. And the continuity of the person from past through present to future is as illusory in its own way.
Once I get this installed here, I'm going to show you just how much room is left in this computer case after I put this graphics card in.
You know, it goes round and round and round, and the whole thing seems to be going up or going down, whatever the case may be. But actually, nothing is going up or down. So when you throw a pebble into the pond, and water is only going up and down.
I don't know if we're still live or not because this thing is buffering.
Is the wave, not the water.
But oh dude, look at this.
So, this kind of philosophical argument says
You see, there's like, if I put a fan in that middle slot, I'm pretty much just gimping the system at that point. But no, looks good. Got motherboard, processor. Gotta put that RAM stick back in there though.
Suffering exists, but no one who suffers. Deeds exist, but no doers are found. A path there is, but no one who follows it. Nirvana is, but no one who attains it.
Dude, this is ridiculous. There's like no room after I installed that graphics card.
Continuity of life as the same sort of illusion that is produced when you take a cigarette and in the dark whirl it, and the
Alright.
illusion of the circle is
Cool.
produced, whereas there is only the one point of fire.
I don't know why they chose. Maybe I should just install my own
The
fan
argument
over
then
here.
is-
But what the hell?
So
Let's
long
just
as
do
you're
that.
in the present, there aren't any problems. The problems exist only
Oh,
when
these
you
have.
allow presence to amalgamate.
Really?
There's a way of putting this in Chinese, which is rather interesting. They have a very interesting
Never mind.
sign. This. It's pronounced Nyan. Japanese Nen. And the top
Alright.
part of the
Now
character,
let's get the
means now,
let's get the power
and the
supply
bottom
installed.
part means the mind heart, the shin. And so this is, as it were, an instant of thought. In Sanskrit, they use this character as the equivalent for the Sanskrit word shan.
Wow, look at that. She barely fits.
Then if you
I
double
feel like
this
there was a little bit
character,
of
put it twice
different connotation behind that message there.
or 3 times.
But we're not
Otherwise,
gonna talk
Chinese
about
ditto.
Oh, it's got the ugly wires. But you know what? We're not picky. We're not choosy. Alright, beggars can't be choosers.
Nyan 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 means thought after thought after thought. Now, the Zen master Joshu was once asked, "What is the mind of a child?" And he said, "A ball in a mountain stream." "What do you mean by a ball in a mountain stream?" He said, "Thought after thought after thought with no block."
Oh, yucky, yucky. Non-modular power supply. Yucky,
So-
yucky. Oh my god.
He was
Stop,
using, of
stop.
course, the mind
It's a
of
mess.
child
It's a mess. It's a
as
mess.
The innocent mind,
Alright.
the mind of a person who's enlightened.
We are going to put that face down.
One thought follows another without hesitation. The thought arises, it doesn't wait to arise. As when you clap your hands, the sound issues without hesitation. When
Dude,
you
these
strike
these
the
Alan Watts
the spark comes
jams
out. It doesn't wait to come
feed
out.
my soul. They are so good.
And that means that there's no block.
And yes,
So, thought.
that was my actual dance moves.
Describes what we call in
When
our
I go to
world
clubs,
stream of consciousness.
that's how you see me from afar.
Blocking consists
Dancing.
in letting
Menacingly.
the stream
Menacingly? Menacingly?
chain together.
We're done. We're cut off. No more English for today. I only
that
speak
when the present thought arises,
Bulgarian,
it seems to be dragging its path,
which I don't know how to, so we're gonna have to learn.
or resisting its future, saying, "I don't want to go."
Now, I don't know if anybody does this as well, but you only really need 2
When
screws
then
diagonally
the connection,
for the power supply.
the
I don't know
dragging
anybody that uses 4 screws.
of these
Like, I feel like
thoughts
that's just inefficient. That's a
drops.
waste. I don't know about you guys.
You've broken the chain of karma.
Oh god, my
If
nose.
you think of this in comparison with certain problems in music, it's very interesting. Because when we listen
The
to
2080
music,
Ti had a Thunderbolt cable?
only because
You learn
we
something
remember
new every day.
We hear the intervals between the tones, but more than that,
Alright.
we remember
Let's plug
the
up
tones that led
the...
up to the one we are now hearing. And we are trained musically to anticipate
plug this
certain
up.
consequences. And to the extent
Should I
that
get
we
you
the
guys
consequences
a
we
view?
anticipate, we feel that we understand the music. But But to the extent that the composer does not adhere to the rules and gives us unexpected consequences, we feel that we don't understand the music. And if he gives us harmonic relationships, which we are not trained to accept, that is to say, to expect, we say, well, this man is just writing garbage. But of course, it becomes apparent that the perception of music, the ability to hear melody, will depend on
God.
a relationship between past, present, and future sounds.
I'm glad I'm not 13
You might
anymore
say, well, you're talking about a
and
way
having
of
to
living
build
that would be equivalent to
with
listening
shit like this.
to music with a tone deaf,
And that's gonna suck when the case goes on it, or the.
so that you would eliminate the melody.
But
have only
let's hope that
noise.
it doesn't interfere with
And
anything.
so in your
It should be able to
child's
like
way of
slightly
life,
bend here.
You would eliminate
Yeah, there we go.
all meaning
Cool.
and have only
And we don't need that. All the screws, exception of the cheap case.
up to a point that's true.
Hey, I'm living life on the edge. That's all I'm
That is,
saying.
in a way, what Buddhists and also mean by
I'm on
seeing
the
things
edge.
in their suchness.
Of glory. Oh, I see.
What is so bad about
It wants
dying?
me to. Oh, that is
It's a
disgusting.
problem. When you die, you
The case fans for this
But what makes it a problem is
um
that you're dragging a past.
are just chain linked
All those things you've done,
Molex
all those
cables.
achievements you've made, all these relationships
So
with people that you've accumulated as your friends. All that has
can
to
I
go.
even control them,
See, it isn't
or
here
does it
now.
just run at one speed?
I mean, a few friends might be around you, but all that past that identifies you as who you are, which is simply memory, all that has to go, and we feel just terrible about that. But if we didn't, if we were just dying, that's all, death wouldn't be a problem.
Alright, let me.
So likewise,
I'm
with
trying
God,
to
everything
make sure that this is like as good as I can get
ties
it.
together, all the past and the future, you feel it dragging at you.
Oh no. Okay.
Supposing you wake
I
up
was
in the
scared for a
morning,
second that I would have to take the
let's
graphics card
today,
back out.
Right here and now, here we are in this paradise of a place. Big Sur.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
Some of
flip
us
the
have got to
PC
go to work on Monday.
in order to get to this.
Is that a problem? For many people it is. It spoils the taste of what's going on now. When we wake up in bed on Monday
24
morning, we think of the
pen.
various hurdles we've got to jump that day. Immediately we feel
Fantastic.
sad, bored, and bothered. Whereas actually we're just
Power
in bed.
supply about to fly away. Dude, I'm very excited for when I turn this computer on and it bursts into flames. And it's all because I didn't put all 4 screws in the power supply. Wouldn't that be ironic?
That's the meaning of the Zen saying.
I feel like
you-
I'm like moving a girl's hair.
when you are tired,
Like every time I take these cables.
when you
Don't
walk,
worry, honey.
when
What?
you sit.
We got you. We got you.
Rinzai.
I'm a hairdresser. My name's Shalange. Shouts out
In the
Ari
practice
Spears.
of Buddhism, there is no place for using effort. Sleep when you're tired, move your bowels, eat when you're hungry.
Dude, where?
That's all. The ignorant will laugh at me, but the wise will understand.
Alright, we're just gonna throw. Dude, that is a bad design. That is actually bad.
So,
Why would they do that?
the meaning
Oh, that
of
scares the shit out of me, but we're just gonna roll with it. And.
Day, that's the characters of the sun. Day,
Alright,
that is
okay, I did come with excited cables.
good day. Every day is a good day. On condition, see, that day is like nyan nyan. They come one after another, and yet there's only this one. You don't link them.
I love how computers are just literally adult Legos.
Intimated just a moment ago seems to be an atomization of life. Things just do what they do.
Things just do what they do.
The flower goes poof, and people go this way, go that way, and so on. And that's what's happening. It has no meaning, it has no destination, it has no value. It's just like that. And when you see that, you see it's a great relief.
What I found really interesting was the 240 gig SSD from Kingston is actually cheaper than the 120 gig SSD, which,
You can begin again.
like, I understand because it's probably a more popular product, but it just kind of, I don't know, just weird. It's a weird concept.
But now you see they don't haunt you. Because you know that there isn't any continuous you running on from moment to moment, who originated at some time in the past and will die at some time in the future. All that's disappeared. So you can have enormous fun anticipating the future, remembering the past, and playing all kinds of continuities.
We're plugging these Molexes in,
Of that famous
which I am incredibly terrified about, to be honest.
to the naive
But
mountains
no,
are mountains, waters
let's
are
roll with it, dude.
To the intermediate student, mountains are no longer mountains, waters are no longer waters. In other words, they've all dissolved into the point instant, to the kshan. But for the fully perfected student, mountains are
So,
again mountains.
I don't know how to explain this, and I could probably show it, but since they put the fan down here, there is a minute chance that if I don't cable manage this correctly, that when the system turns on, it's going to cut up these wires, like, instantly. But we are going to make sure that that doesn't happen, right? Right? I doubt it. Okay, we're just gonna plug this into here. And where is... Okay, I see it. Alright, now we really don't need like every single cable put into this. We don't need audio. We have the USB 3, because the USB 3 is, I mean, all you would really need for a front I/O port. And all these back here are going to work anyway, so I don't really feel like screwing with all that. Alright, so we'll leave audio back here. We'll leave USB back here. We need the power LED. Actually, no, we don't need the power LED. I know if a computer's on or not. I'm not stupid. We just need the power switch. That's all we really need here.
Gold hippie spinning, pour smoking shisha. My sweetie kissed my cheek, said her heart was happy. I had to smile at the sky, say what up to Pappy. Man, time is of the essence, better count your blessings.
Power switch.
A couple foreign honeys think I'm funny. Fuck money, I'll define myself, learning lessons. Yeah, I laugh it off, life's a comedy show. Who want the drama? I'm a beast, I'm a dog, I'm a hippopotamus. Hakeem Olajuwon when I rock it on the mic and it sounding like Hakuna Matata. More focused on the fun, trying to worry like nada. Peace, brother, man, I'll see ya manana.
Okay. I think we're actually done. And let me clean up some of these wires real quick.
Yeah, I'm passing to the point that it seem in a
West. I bet you my name in the woods, stepping with the method I'm perfecting. Talking that bullshit, I'm talking making the record. I've been stepped past, laughed at for chasing a penny. Man, a 9 to 5 will only get you so many. Go and DM me, man. You know I give you music aplenty. Took a semi-long break, now I'm back with the Emmys.
Alright, just making sure none of those wires are in the fan system.
Skim the waves while the ripping J's up. Making songs till you sick of my voice like me.
Alright, and let's try to get this back on here. This is usually the hardest part of the entire build, is putting this back on the case. But nah, since we weren't like too focused on like trying to make the front as pretty as possible, nah, this is gonna be this is a cakewalk compared to some of the ones I've gone through. Perfect.
Growing up, I always thought to myself, how do some folks look so lost with no help? Confused so often I felt as my friend got raised with a cross and a belt. So I sought to rebel and brought him to the sky. I mean, I broke him out his cage and I taught him how to fly. He said we shouldn't do it, so I taught him how to try. And when his parents came looking, I just told a bunch of lies. Important that he saw another way to think. Like sleeping through the night is just another way to blink. Cause life is just a balance of perspective. So what's the point of it if that challenge is neglected? And he said he felt free like no hands. Free as the girl he loves with no plans. Free as a first taste from a
Alrighty.
helped him feel something real I can only hope, man.
And like the best part about this, honestly, is just how damn light this computer is. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I've dealt with PCs that weigh like a stupid amount my entire life, and that is probably the lightest computer. And I've built like a mini ITX, you know, like portable computer with a 1070 in it, and this, dude, this like takes the cake. What I don't understand is who in their right mind would put fans on the inside top of this, because this top isn't like a mesh. It's like, that is a dumb design. It really is. Now I might have to, I don't know, we'll see what the temperatures are like inside of that when it gets to running. I still need to install either Windows or Hive OS. I think Windows is probably going to be the easiest for me to understand immediately, and maybe I'll install Hive OS later, because it's just a single GPU system. It's not anything crazy.
Originating with Kung Fu or Confucius, who lived
What do I do with those screws?
a little after 630 BC.
Uh-oh. Alright, I'm going to try to clean up a little bit, because I don't know.
Of Lao Tzu, who is
I don't know what I did with the screws that go to the tempered glass panel.
lived later than
Oh, here they are. I'm dumb.
according to most modern scholars.
Okay, let me at least.
Confucianism is
I'm
not a religion.
I'm so scared.
It's a social ritual.
I know that the top fans are for airflow. Like I've built a bunch of PCs. What I'm saying is usually like, okay, so like if I pan over here, all right, you can see that the top, you can like see into the system. Like this is like a mesh, like very easy airflow. Whereas over here, it's like, it's thick. Yeah, like there's like little perforations, and I get that that's probably for dust, but it doesn't seem like air would have a very easy time getting through this at all. Oh, and you can forget water cooling in that system. You could probably get away with like a 120 mil like AIO, maybe, but nah, this case does not have enough room for any of that.
And involves ideas of human relations,
Alright.
including the government and the family, based on the principle of what is called in Chinese ren, although Jiafu will notice that I never get my tones right,
How is that already scratched? Are you kidding me?
which is an extraordinarily interesting word. I'm going to put some of these things on the whiteboard.
Trying to make sure that I don't get like fingerprints all over the back of this, so I'm trying to insert it as best as I can to make
It's
sure that
often
that doesn't
translated
happen.
benevolence, but that's not a good translation at all. This word means human-heartedness. That's the nearest we can get to it in English. And it was regarded by Confucius as the highest of all virtues, but one that he always refused to define. It's above righteousness and justice,
Cool.
propriety, and other great Confucian.
You know, that's not a bad looking system. It's not like
And it involves
fantastic in
principle that
terms of
human
like
nature
something I would show off all the
is
time, but
fundamentally good.
nah, for something that we just threw together, this thing is actually pretty cool looking.
Including not only our virtuous side, but also our passionate side, also our appetites and our waywardness. The Hebrews have a term which they call the Yetzer Hara, Y-E-Z-E-R-H-A-R-A, which means the wayward inclination, or what I like to call the element of irreducible rascality that God put into all human beings. And put it there because it was a good thing. It was good for humans
I
to have
hate
these two elements.
fingerprints.
And so,
Me too.
truly human-hearted
Now,
person
are you saying that
is a gentleman
like you hate fingerprints on glass,
slight touch of
or
rascality, just
are
as
you
one has
secretly a
that
murderer
stew.
and you got caught by your fingerprints and now you're just really upset that you didn't burn them off sooner?
Meaning that to try to be wholly
'Cause,
righteous is to
you know what?
go
Fair.
beyond humanity,
Fair game.
to try to be something that isn't human.
Alright,
So,
we're going to
Confucian
plug this up now.
approach to life and justice and all those sort of things.
You know, there is
Queer humor.
an HDMI
Sort of
on this
boys
system,
will be boys,
but I don't think the i3 has.
which is nevertheless a very pure way of handling human
I've lost my
problems.
mind. Where has it gone?
Of course, for this reason that the Japanese Buddhist priests who visited
There it is.
China to study Buddhism, especially Zen priests, introduced Confucianism into Japan.
You take the short from 45,900? No, I opted for 45,350.
Despite certain limitations,
Just because 45,900 kept getting retested
always needs the
over and
Tao
over and over again, so I didn't want to get stopped out a bunch of times.
Confucianism has been one of the most successful philosophies in all history for the
Alright,
regulation of governmental and family.
I think actually what might, if I plug it up
But
over
of
here.
course, it is concerned with
Okay.
formality. Confucianism prescribes all kinds of formal relationships, linguistic, ceremonial, musical, in etiquette, in
Alright.
all the spheres of morals.
Moment of truth.
And for this reason,
Alright,
always
if this doesn't
consider
turn on, then I have to switch around the power button.
for being unnatural. You need these two components, you see, and they play against each other beautifully in Chinese society. Roughly speaking, you see, the Confucian way of life is for people involved in the world. The Taoist way of life is for people
I made
who
one
get
mistake,
disentangled.
but other than that,
Now,
I think we did a
know in our
perfect
own
job.
modern times, there are various ways
There is
to
a
get disentangled
cable
from
that
the
goes
regular
from the
lifestyle,
CPU
say, of
cooler
the United States.
to the header
If you
that
want to go
I
through the
accidentally
regular
made it so
lifestyle
that
of the United States,
when the fan turns
you
on,
go to
it
high
is
school and college, and then you,
hitting
go into
that
a
cord.
profession or a business.
that cable.
And you own a standard house, and you raise a family, and you have a car
And
or two
I
cars,
thought
and,
it was the sound of electricity coursing
do
through
all that jazz.
the case,
But a lot
and
of
if I
people don't
touched it,
wanna
I
live
was
that
going
way.
to die.
And there are lots of
But
other
no,
ways
we're
of
good,
living
we're
besides that. So So you could say that those of us who go along with the pattern correspond to the Confucians. And those who are
I am
bohemians
confusion.
or bums or beatniks or whatever, don't correspond with the pattern. They are more
Okay.
like the Taoists. Because
Alright.
the Taoist is really...
That should be good.
Actually, in Chinese history, Taoism is a way of life for older people. Lao Tzu, the name given to the founder of Taoism, means the old boy. And the legend is that when he
Hi.
was born, he was already had a white
I'm
beard.
just gonna call you SK because I don't know how to pronounce that first part. Fraser? Joe Fraser?
So it is sort of
thanks. Can
like
you show the
this, that when
ABC
you
of
have
that short setup I'm
contributed
learning?
to society,
Yeah, once we get this all
and
set
you
up,
contributed
I'm gonna be
children
jumping back on the
to
computer and downloading
and you assume
Windows
certain
to a
role
USB flash drive.
in social
Which
life.
actually I don't know if I
You then say, now it's time for me to
have
find out what
one
it's all
like
about.
immediately accessible. I'm gonna have to go look
Who
around
am
for a
I,
second.
ultimately, behind my outward personality?
I think I don't know
What is the secret
where one
sauce?
is immediately. I might have to actually go
And,
run out to the store and
latter
grab one,
half of life
which kind of
is the
sucks.
preeminently
'Cause I would like to like set up the actual
It's something to do when you have finished with the
process,
business.
but I just wanted to build a computer on stream today, so I mean, if
I am not
that's all
saying
we get to
that
do,
that
that's
is
all we get to do.
a sort of unavoidable strict rule. Of course, one can study the Tao when very young, because it contains all kinds of secrets in it as to the performance of every
Okay.
kind of art or craft or business or any occupation.
Alright, round 2. Fight.
But it does, in China, in a way, it plays that role of a kind of safety valve for the more restricted way of life that Confucianism prescribes. And there is a sort of type in China who's known as the old rogue. He's a sort of intellectual bum.
We did good job.
Scholars. Who is
As I
admired
expected, the
very much. And
fans are running
a
at
type
full
of
speed
character which had an enormous influence on the development of the ideas
because of these molexes.
Zen Buddhist life.
So it's quite loud.
He is one you see who
But,
goes with nature.
Now let me plug it into
Rather than
to a monitor and see if it posts. That's the real thing. 'Cause I mean, yeah, it can turn
First
on.
of all, I'm going to talk
but
about ideas which
I gotta make sure that the
particularly out of
GPU
Lao Tzu's book,
is still working
Tao
and
Te
everything
Ching.
like that.
And of course, the basic thing in the whole philosophy is the conception of Tao. This word has many meanings, and the book of Lao Tzu starts out by saying that the Tao which can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Or there's a pun in
Man, this is becoming a
which you
messy
can't quite,
ordeal.
put into English. Can't give all the meanings, because the word Tao means both the way or course of nature or of everything. It also means to speak. So the actual opening phrase of the book, following this word Tao, is this, and the character is repeated again. And this character means can be, or can, able, something like that. So the way which can be, then give it its second meaning, spoken, described, uttered. But it also means the way that can be weighed. Not W-E-I-G-H, but W-A-Y-E-D. You know, you'd have to invent that word.
Huh.
The way that can be traveled, perhaps, is not the eternal way. In other words, there is no way in which the Tao, or following the Tao, can, there's no recipe for it. I can't give you any do-it-yourself instructions, A, B, C, D, as to how it's done. It was like when Louis Armstrong was asked, what is jazz? He said, if you have to ask, you don't know. Now that's awkward, isn't it? But we can gather what it is by absorbing certain atmospheres and attitudes connected with those who follow it. And from the art and the poetry and all the expressions. And
I'm trying to see if there's anything I'm doing wrong here.
That illustrate.
Because it's not getting the signal from the...
So, this word then, the way or the course of things, is not, you must understand this, some Christian missionaries translated Tao as the Logos, taking as their point of departure the opening passage of St. John's Gospel, in the beginning was the Word. Now if you look up a Chinese translation of the Bible, it says in the beginning was the Tao. And the Tao was with God, and the Tao was God. The same as in the beginning with God. All things were made by it. And without it was not.
Let me make sure this is seated properly. So that's the only thing I can really think is stopping this. Man, I hate opening and closing the system 1,000 different times.
So they've substituted Tao there. Now that will make a very funny effect on the Chinese philosopher. Because the idea of things being made by the Tao is absurd.
What will be my first TP on that short? I'm hoping to get stopped out on it. Because like I said, it's just... If we actually fall, I'll take my profit at some point. I just don't know yet. I mean, obviously, it's going to be probably the 0.382, 0.441 region. It's just, I'm still bullish. I just take that in precaution if my long really doesn't work out.
It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And when good things are accomplished, it lays no claim to them. In other words, the Tao doesn't stand up and say,
Does that kite still fly?
I have made all of you, I have filled this earth with its beauty
What
and
kite?
glory, fall down before me and worship. The Tao...
Oh, that's definitely going to have fingerprints now. I'm so sorry, murderer.
And is not around to receive any thanks or acknowledgement, because it loves obscurity. And Lao Tzu said the Tao is like water. It's always
Be like
seeks
water,
the low
my
level,
friend.
which human beings abhor.
Oh, shoot.
So it's a very
Back to the
mysterious
Leatherman.
Tao then is not really equivalent with any Western or Hindu idea of God, because God is always associated with being the Lord. Even in India, the Brahman is often called the Supreme Lord, although that was the term more strictly applicable to Ishvara, the manifestation of Brahman in the form
I'm
of
stupid, stupid, stupid.
But Bhagavan, the Lord, Krishna...
I missed a crucial step, guys, because I was in a rush.
There's always the idea of the king,
Which I don't know why I'm in a rush.
but not in the Chinese Tao.
But the step I missed was I did not plug in the 8-pin connector into
Is not
the
something
top of the motherboard where the
different
CPU
from
draws power.
nature, from ourselves, from our surrounding
My mistake!
seas and waters and air. The Tao is the way all that behaves. And so the basic Chinese idea of the universe is really that it's an organism. And as we shall see when we get on to Zhuangzi, who who's the sort of elaborator of Lao Tzu, he sees everything operating together so that nowhere can you find the controlling center. There isn't any.
Man, is this gonna be able to reach?
The world is a system of interrelated components, none of which can survive without each other. Just as in the case of bees and flowers, you will never find bees around in a place where there aren't flowers, and you will never find flowers around in a place where there aren't bees or insects that do the equivalent job. And what that tells us secretly is that although bees and flowers look different from each other, they're inseparable. They, to use a very important Taoist expression, they arise mutually. This is one of the great phrases from the second chapter of Lao Tzu's book, where he says, this character means to have or to be.
Okay. It makes it look a tad bit uglier
This next one is a
than
very important character.
than I want it to, but
It means no, negative,
I'm also a tad bit uglier than I want to be. So, you know,
not to be,
we don't always get what we want.
and then
I didn't plug the dingle hopper into the thingamajig. Yeah, that's pretty much
corresponding
what
idea
happened
in traditional
on like a
Western
scientific universal level.
thought. So,
The
to be
thingamajig
and
didn't get
not
plugged
to
into
be
the
mutually
quad hopper.
This character is based on the picture of a plant, something that grows out of the ground. So, you could say positive and negative, to be and not to be, yes and no.
Okay.
Light and dark arise mutually, come into being.
Okay, on your first post, didn't have the GPU on the motherboard step by step. I did that last time. On your first post, you didn't have the GPU.
There's none is
Oh, well, that's the problem. I have to have the GPU
correct, it's not that
on the motherboard because this doesn't have integrated graphics. Like it has.
So as
I need to
bees
test
and
it because
flowers,
I was reading the reviews and they said that the i3 doesn't have
in the same way as
doesn't
high and
have
low,
integrated
back
graphics.
and front,
So it might be
long and short, loud and soft.
that the person was confused.
All those experiences are experienceable only in terms of their polar experience. So the Chinese idea of nature is that all the various species arise mutually because they interdepend. And this total system of interdependence is the Tao.
Okay. Let me do a once over and make sure I got everything.
Tao.
Alright, RAM,
This is
processor.
mutual arising is the key idea to the whole thing. And it is.
Alright, I think we're
if you
good
want to
now.
Understand Chinese and Oriental thought in general. It is the most important thing to grasp.
Alright.
Because you see, we think so much in terms of cause and effect. We think of the universe today in Aristotelian and Newtonian ways. And in that philosophy, the world is all separated.
Okay.
It's like a huge amalgamation of billiard balls.
I'm gonna need to take a shower after this.
And they don't
What is that
move
computer
struck
gonna be
by
used for,
another
brother?
or by a cube.
Mining. So I bought a graphics
everything
card
is going
because it was a good deal off of Facebook Marketplace,
all over the place.
and
One thing starting off another in a mechanical
now we are going to turn it into
But of course,
a
from the
passive
standpoint
mining
of
machine.
century science,
It's not gonna be like the highest profit in the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I just like building computers, and I wanted an excuse to build one.
mechanical
And
model which you
mining is
all right
always
for
something
certain purposes,
to get into.
but it breaks down now.
Gosh,
We understand relativity,
how come it was so easy the first time, and now
and we see
it's gonna act like this?
how things go together in a kind of connected net, rather than in a chain of billiard balls banging each other around. So, in the philosophy of the Tao, it is said, it's always being said, this is, you read this in every art book about Chinese art.
Okay,
In Chinese painting,
we got it.
man is always seen as in nature, rather than dominating it. You get a painting entitled Poet Drinking by Moonlight.
I think I have actual thumb
And
screws
you
that
see a
came
great
on.
landscape. And
Okay, so
after
there's
some
one,
search with a
two. There
magnifying
we go.
glass, at last you see the poet stuck away in a corner somewhere drinking wine. Whereas if we painted the subject poet drinking by moonlight, the poet would be the most obvious thing in the picture. There he would be dominating the whole thing, the landscape of
Alright, hopefully that
but all the Chinese
fixes our situation.
man. I mean, the painters of the great classical tradition, there are Chinese painters who specialize in
And I'm not going to put the tempered glass back on until we confirm
someone's ancestor sitting on a throne.
that that was the problem, and it posts now.
But the Taoist
Ugh.
inspired painters, Zen inspired painters, have this view of man as an integral part of nature. Something in it, just as everything else is in it, flowers and birds, and not there sent into this world, commissioned by some sort of super.
Hey, we got lights.
Farm it, dominate it.
Oh,
So then, the whole conception of nature is as a self-regulating, self-governing, indeed democratic.
we got lights on the GPU now.
But it has a totality. It all goes together.
But,
And this totality is the
Dude, if you saw what these lights were doing,
So then we
you
move
would have
to
a seizure.
second term that is extremely important.
Oh, and we posted.
The expression
It's reading.
of Zhuang is
It's
the
reading the memory. It's reading the CPU. It's reading, obviously, the
when we
GPU.
translate Chinese.
It's reading the Kingston.
But this term expresses this whole point of view. It
Fantastic.
doesn't say nature, natura,
I'm so
which means in a way
I'm so happy.
thousand things.
I love new computers.
It means literally self-so. What is so of itself? What happens of itself?
Let me make sure I don't
And
break
thus
anything.
Spontaneity.
But
And in the
dude,
Tao
it is
Te
like
Ching early on,
it's like freaking
Lao
out.
Tzu says, the Tao's method is
I don't like. Can you
to be
see?
so of itself.
I don't know why this person. It's red, white, and blue. That is
Now,
the person that had
we
it
might
before me
translate that automatically.
was rocking
Were it
out
not
like
that
it was
the
4th of
word
July.
automatic has a mechanical flavor.
But no, that's the finished system right there. I just have to install Windows and we'll be good to go. Nice, nice.
Spontaneous, yes.
And
It happens as your
like I said, I believe that the 2080 Ti
you don't do anything about it. You
is
don't
making
force your
around
beat, you don't make it beat. It
like
does it by
$2.60
itself.
a day.
Now figure a world
But,
in which everything happens by itself.
If
It
we,
doesn't
you know,
have
like
to
I
be
said, like
controlled, it's allowed.
if we play our cards right, and
The whereas you
you know,
might say,
flux-
the idea of God involves
flux
the
goes
control
up in
of everything
value,
going on.
you know, 2,
The
3,
idea of the
4x.
Tao is the ruler
Every
who
single day that
abdicates
I spend mining right
and lets
now
all the people, trusts all
will
the
be
people
worth,
to conduct their own
hopefully,
affairs.
you know, like $8 to $10. Like
To let it all happen.
that obviously would be like
So
the best scenario.
this
but
doesn't mean, you see, that
As of
there's
right now,
a
we can only
unified
really
organism.
guarantee on about
Everything is in
$2.60 a day.
chaos. It means that the more liberty you give, the
So,
more love you
it's gonna
give,
take about a
the
year to
more
pay
you
this thing,
allow things
pay itself
in
off.
yourself
But
and in your surroundings to take place.
you know, I always think it's cool to have extra computers laying around just in case. And if they're already paying themselves off, then what the hell, man? What do you got to lose? It's actually not that loud now that we got the CPU working and everything like that. Whoa, is that even worth it with these electric bills? Well, I mean, I think it's like 12 cents a kilowatt. So yeah, it's worth it. Like I said, I mean, if Flux triples in price every single day that I spend mining, it's worth $8. So, where the hell did I put the thumb screws for the top of this? I keep losing shit. I'm not really good at this, if you guys can tell. And I'm gonna try to put some games on this because I'm curious if it actually can game. It has a 2080 Ti, but I don't know if it can really game with 4 gigabytes of RAM. I think it would need like a minimum of 8. But this is the newest i3, so I think it will do decent. It's not gonna be like incredible, but I don't think it'll be terrible. Because we've been looking to get my nephew a gaming computer and try to get him away from the Xbox. So I mean, like, if we can set this up in the living room, and you know, he just asks when he wants to go on it, and I can turn off the miner and make sure that he doesn't mess anything up. You know, that might be a good option. Because otherwise, he always asks to use his mom's computer. And obviously, nobody wants to give up their computer to a 12-year-old. Because 12-year-olds are nefarious. We've all been one. We know exactly what goes on in a 12-year-old's mind. And we would not like that to be on our computers. Viruses out the ass. It's so beautiful, like an ugly baby. All right, when your baby's ugly, but it's your baby, you know, you love it. Nah, it's for a cheap little guy. So far, so good. But yeah, let me clean up a little bit. All right, let's turn this off. There we go. And let's hop on the computer for a little bit before I log off. It's like I said, I might have to go pick up a USB flash drive because it's just been such a long time since I've ever used one, so I don't know if I know I have one in the house that I've used to install Windows before. I just don't know where the hell it is. Okay. Alright. Oh, I'm so sorry about the nose. Let me try to fix that for you guys. Alright, we are back to the good microphone. But let me switch it back to the screen. It's a fun day, guys. I appreciate everybody that was here and hung out. It was a nice little experience. So let's get this all scaled down to size here. Let's move this down. Oh. Don't take it personal now. If I'm on the fence, it's not about you. I had to switch up the list. People holding you down, cut them out of your plans. Okay. And I'm sweating. So
the headphones that I normally wear are open back headphones, so they're usually a little bit more breathable than stuff like this. But these are comfortable. It's just moving around like that. Definitely, I'm sweating up a storm. I look insane right now. Okay. Move this a little bit this way. There we go. Trying to do all this on monitor. So I unplugged this monitor. That is totally, utterly. It's like lopsided, and I hate that. That's screwing with me. But one more time before we log off here, because like I said, I'm probably gonna be getting going and get some food, and making sure the computer's all up and running before tonight, because the whole plan is to have this thing running 24/7, no off days, you know. So I got to get that going. But let me, since I'm missing, let me put that screen back in real quick. I gotta turn down these lights because I have them at pretty much max brightness. They're killing my eyeballs. There we go. Fantastic. Fishy, go lay down. Go lay down. Nice. It do what it do. Like I said, I'm trying to just keep a level head about the market. It's gonna do what it does. Take you out in a second. Give me 1 second. Right now, if you want to reassume bullishness, right, in terms of like the immediate term, obviously I'm still macro bullish, but the probability is technically to the downside right now, guys. That's why I'm taking these head shorts. I mean, there's nothing really to be said besides the fact that we have put in the B to probably a macro ABC to the downside. All right, this has always been the case, and I've warned about this for many, many months. Right? Well, I want to say like 40 days, probably not many months, but as long as we are below, in particular, these two levels. All right, if we are below 45,900 or 45,350, all right, as long as we are below those two levels, we have technically completed our ABC to the upside. Okay. Now, the reason why this is a huge concern in terms of why you should maybe want to be short, all right, is this has the possibility to turn into one gigantic A to one gigantic B, and we possibly could be going into one gigantic C. All right, very, very well could be what's happening. So now, that being said, technically we're macro bearish at the moment. I'm trying to see what's going to happen. All right, because I still think 52K is the retest. I think a lot of people are bearish right now, so it makes sense for the market to kind of fake them out. So, that being said, in the immediate term, all right, if we get back above this larger structure here on the 1 to 2 hour time frame. If we get back above 44,250 and we stay above it, that has the possibility for continuation for a higher high than 48,000, which hopefully would land us somewhere towards 51, 52K. And then at that point, I probably would be taking profits on my longs and looking for short positions going forward. But is Richard Hart living with you here? I can't believe you said this. What's your electric bill like? Has to be expensive with oil going up. It's definitely going up, but it's not astronomical. So we're doing good. And I mean, hopefully the graphics card pays for the electricity. That's the whole goal. Yeah. If mining really becomes unprofitable to the point where like I'm spending more money on electricity, I have to weigh the pros versus cons and see if it's not worth it having it just being a miner or PC. But that's what I'm looking forward to. Long term, medium term. Like I said, I'm still pretty bullish. I think right now is kind of a fake out. It's trying to sucker people into over shorting, and using that liquidity to continuously pump it going forward until we get to that 52K mark. But as of right now, like I said, you have to look at it from a logical perspective and an analytical perspective. The logical perspective is, I think that the whales are trying to sucker people into over leveraging short, but my analytical is, it is an ABC setup. I have to take the short. I'm holding the short because it has the greatest potential of actually stopping out my long. So Ethereum is being a little bit of a absolute dingus, but besides that, I'm holding it, and we will continue going forward. So at the moment, I'm going to continuously try to enter Ethereum with small risk, and only until that point right there. So as long as Ethereum is below 3,250, well, 3,286, I will be trying to get my shorts in. Obviously, I want to get as close as possible to that line, but will you add to your position on 44,200? No. There's no real reason for me to do that. Like I said, I'm not going to be adding in particular to my Bitcoin position, but I will be adding to my altcoin positions. So once BTC, if BTC gets back above that level, that's when I'm going to be looking for longs on, in particular, Sushi. Or if Sushi gets back above $3.80, I'll be entering long again. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate your time today. I gotta go either look for a flash drive or I gotta go buy one. But either way, I gotta take a shower because I stink from sweating building that computer. It's kind of sad to say. I mean, it wasn't that much work. But I appreciate you being here today, guys. I know the market is it's decently exciting today, but in reality, there's nothing major that's happening. It's a couple supports and resistances kind of flopping and groping everywhere, which, it sucks, but we'll see. Shouts out Flap and Groper, which I still got a sour taste in my mouth, but all right. I appreciate you guys very much. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll give you some updates about how the computer situation's going. And I will be putting out a video talking about the entire process, what to look for, and how to get your actual mining set up. I'll do two methods. I'll do if you just want to mine Flux, you know, how to do that regularly, or if you just want to set up nice hash, we'll do both. But yeah, all right, guys, let's pick a song and head off for today. Let's see. Is there anything on my release radar? You know, we'll play Don't Worry. I played this when we were building the computer, but I really don't have like a pick song for today. So we'll play Don't Worry. It's Terrence McKenna and then Akira the Don remastered it into kind of like song form. So once again, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. It was a very fun day. So, all right, guys. Let's do the thing, and we'll peace out. Is there a hotkey to turn off filters on OBS? Bye!
Akira.
Question, I guess it keeps coming up to me was, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I keep saying, de-emphasize anxiety, reassure people. You meet people who say, you know, I'm really scared. I'm scared about my job. I'm scared. It's just, you know, don't worry. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Worry. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. It's a total waste of time. It presupposes such a knowledge of the situation that it is in fact a form of hubris. You know, now what you do is just pay your bills and, you know, pack heat if you need to, and don't worry. That's all. Yes. Worry is praying to the devil. That's great. Worry is betting against yourself. You know, Wepo Yang, a great Chinese Taoist who wrote many, many commentaries on the I Ching, he was asked at the end of his life, what was his conclusion of a life of studying the I Ching? He said, worry is preposterous. That was it. Don't worry. You don't know